Hi everyone, this is Nadia. I'm an occult specialist that uses spiritual intelligence to empower entrepreneurs into healthy, empowered money story to live a balanced life. Today's round we're going to be covering Clauneck's money equation and something that lots of people have asked me, like what does it really take to bring in consistent levels of money? How do you retain it? How do you keep it? How do you have a good relationship with it? Before I actually get into the equation, what I do want to say as a disclaimer is that there are so many people that I personally find have made so much money in this world. They could have made millions and millions of deals. They understand deal flow or they understand business, but they don't understand money. Which is why even when you listen to them, I know there's a lot of people who like thinking, they think money is their God and they worship money. For the most part in Western society, people do not worship God anymore. They don't have any faith, they don't have any religion or spirituality. The only thing they worship is money. They chase after it and they worship science. So with that said and with that out of the way, there are so many people who, like I've said, make a lot and then there's no soul, there's nothing, they're just empty, for lack of a better term. So today I really want to cover Clauneck's money equation. Now, it usually has three key pointers, I would say, that I've personally seen over the years when I've needed to cope with difficult situations in business, when I've needed to bring in more money, when I've needed to retain that money, when I've needed to invest in that money. I've seen different things in my life, and Clauneck, the big boss, the mighty Clauneck, is really, really good at helping you get organized. Now, one of the first things that I talk about money is organization. It was in one of my audio classes, and it is in one of my the modules in my actual course that you can find on my website. It's called Wealth, and it really distills and narrows down what it really requires to bring in money in general, large amounts of money, to have a healthy relationship with money, because in actual fact you can bring in a lot of money, you can have that money, but if you don't have a healthy relationship with it, which is what I really strive to teach on this channel and I really strive to teach in Spartanite in general, then you're always going to struggle. Then it will always be, money will not be a tool. It will be something that you use to control, humiliate, dominate, prove a point, and you don't need to be doing all that. It's just a tool. It's like, it's a translucent liquid that just flows through the pillar of life. So on that note, lots of people want to know more about Clauneck. Now, Clauneck is actually not part of the Goetia. However, he is the first in command of the 18 spirits under Duke Siriash, which I believe is. And Clauneck is very, very good, like I've said, with organization. Clauneck is very much get on your shit. Clauneck hates lazy people. If you are lazy and you're expecting him to just sort of, you're going to evoke him and then, he's going to come into your life and bring you lots of opportunities. No. He's going to make you do hard work. Clauneck really, really, really hates lazy people. Like, lazy people make him cringe. I have had so many seditions and summonings with him, and it's always like, yeah. Whenever I've done a ritual with him, I'm always on it, like literally on it. Meaning that there'll be new projects, new sidelines, new businesses, new people I meet. There are different things, and he's very instrumental and powerful when it comes to organizing your life. For instance, that's not just to do with money, it's to do with get your wardrobe right. Like, he'll make me clean my wardrobe and be like, right, have it set, look, everything nice, make sure your makeup bag is set, make sure your dishes in your kitchen are all clean, put them in the dishwasher, do this, do that. He always clean up, make sure, you've done this, you've done that, it's not a mess. Because it's very difficult to bring in money when your life is such a mess and you're all over the place. Clauneck is big on checking accounts, figures, obviously being the astral accountant. So in that saying, I did a small ritual and a sedition with him, and these are his 3 pointers of what he believes really pushes people to bring in that money, or they are able to amass it towards themselves. Most people, for lack of a better term, will struggle with these 3. They will struggle with it simply because they live a mediocre life. So I'm going to try and cover these 3 topics today, and have a look at what we can do to improve on each of these 3 topics so that we're able to get to the destination, or whatever destination you have in mind, you can get to from a financial situation. So, number one is high stress tolerance. Okay, right. Number one is high stress tolerance. Most people don't have a high stress tolerance. In the typical professions where you can bring in money, it's always high stress tolerance. So you're thinking of banking, law, finance, you're thinking of entrepreneurship, investing. These are all stressful. This is the reason that I tell women that you have to, this is on a side note by the way, this doesn't apply to men, although men can obviously take their pointers from it. It's very important to still make time for yourself as a woman, like look good, look feminine, rest, look after yourself, because these professions, this high stress tolerance I talk about, it can turn you very much into a man, because it's mental pressure. In essence, what I'm trying to say by high stress tolerance is that there are going to be deadlines you need to hit, there are going to be things you need to deliver to clients, there are going to be things that you need to show up for, and if you don't have a high stress tolerance, you're fucked. For lack of a better term, there's no polite way for me to put it. If you do not have high stress tolerances and you're always in your emotions and you're crying about things, and that's a lot of people of today, what's happened with so many people is that people find offense over anything. You can't even breathe properly these days and people have something to say about you. People are offended about anything because they're always in their feelings. They're victims 24/7. Yada yada, this person did this to me. I'm not saying, of course, we go through situations, and I've gone through situations in life that have really challenged me. I've gone through lots of abuse, I've gone through lots of trauma. But I never look at those individuals and think, oh, you know, this person has got one over me. And they don't, because that's giving away your power. That's accepting powerlessness. It's giving up on life, basically. So your high stress tolerance means that no matter what's thrown at you, there is some way you're able to cope with it, which is mental processing. Okay, so mental processing basically is very powerful. Lots of people, when I think of like the stock market, when I think of things like that, entrepreneurship, like I said, banking, law, and finance, there's a lot of pressure. There's pressure all the time. Not good for health. Not good for health. That's what I say. And money does not have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be, you know, that you're under stress 24/7. But for the most part, in the material world, money does come with stress. It really does. The higher paid job, the more stress. The reason you're being paid higher in the job is because it's more stressful. The reason you can bring in more in business is because you are serving value at a higher level to higher based people. So, you know, it can be two sides of the same coin. However, when you think of high stress tolerance is one of the first things Clauneck always talked about to me. He said, if a person doesn't have high stress tolerance, they're mediocre. Harsh, but you know, Clauneck is extra. Clauneck is very extra. He thinks he's not extra, but I think, as a human being, I think he's extra. He is very hard on people. Like, if he sees that you have potential, he won't spare anything. Like, in the beginning, when I first started working with him, you know, he looked at me and he said, yeah, you've got 7 years to clean up your life. Like, this is 7 years ago, by the way. 7 years marks this year, so I'm very proud. It's like my little anniversary when I first started working with him. And he said, you know, within 7 years, I'm going to give you tasks and you need to clean up your life. Your life is so beyond utterly car crash damaged that, you know, there will be little parts of your life that you have to clean over and over again. And one of the first things Clauneck talked to me about was this high stress tolerance. If you don't have high stress tolerance, working with left hand, working with Goetia, you're gonna need high stress tolerance. You know, boo-hoo, you know, your ritual failed, or boo-hoo, you know, you got fired from the job, or boo-hoo, you know, somebody kicked you out of the house. Yeah, you're just gonna have to have the tolerance to get your shit together. What happens with a lot of people, before I move on to pointer number 2, is when things go left in their life, they go straight with it. When things go left in your life, being centered and calm is the most important thing. It's not going to be easy. especially for those who are abuse and trauma survivors. What it does is very quickly is that it reactivates and triggers your original trauma. Now, if you have PTSD, that's one thing. If you have complex PTSD, a whole different bag. So we don't know what's been activated. Your mind, your amygdala becomes very dysregulated and you're like all over the place, because I've gone through it. It just so happens that over time, the dysregulation became so much that it literally smacked me into place. Now it's like anything going left, I'm prepared for it, because it's almost like boot camp. It's trained you so much. So if you've got this high stress tolerance and you're very good at handling stress, and a lot of people are really not, they'd like to tell themselves they're very good at handling stress, they're not really, and you can tell that in this high stress tolerance, if you're naive, and again I'm going to say a lot of people are naive, they don't think they're naive, you won't be able to handle that level of stress. Okay, that's number one. So let's go on to number two, which would be high IQ. Okay, this is gonna trigger a lot of people. Are you trying to say dumb people can't make money? That's not my point. High IQ is an individual who is able to use fast cognitive processing. Okay, fast cognitive processing. Right. Fast cognitive processing essentially means that you are able to connect the dots in your head very, very fast. You take initiative, you are ahead of people because of the one thing that I talk about, which is speed. High IQ people will always be at the top, whether they're high IQ autistic or high IQ psychopathic. It doesn't make a difference. You try and endeavor not to, autistic, that I can't say anything about that, of course, but psychopathic, you try and endeavor not to be that in this world. It is difficult as you climb the echelon, so you will obviously find yourself facing a lot of cluster B psychopathic people, and do your best to try not to turn into one. Okay. Money loves speed. I've said this many, many times. People are wanting to give you their money. People are here, take my money. But you're slow, you're lazy, you're not easy to do business with, you know, I can't be bothered to get back to a person till tomorrow. They don't care, they've already paid somebody else. When people are in that hot seat and they want to buy, whoever is the easiest to do business with, they're going to come to that person. What is it? What am I talking about? Convenience. So with high IQ, when you design your life in terms financially, when I'm talking about business here, when you want to create a business, you already have one, or you have a very successful career, you're always looking for ways to get ahead with speed. The thing with people who have high IQ, and traditionally society calls them smart. If someone's smart, they have high IQ, basically. They're more likely to process things faster. Like, you're like, wow, you work quickly, or wow, you can handle a lot of work, or wow, that's wow, you do this, or wow, you do that. They're not mediocre in their mentality and their IQ. The problem with people who have high IQ is that it's very difficult to deal with people who have pedestrian IQ. Predominance of the world is pedestrian IQ. I mean, I know everybody likes to fancy themselves as smart and, you know, this, that. In recent times, because of the fluoride in the water, especially in the US, dumbing down of social media, just lots of stuff, food, obviously, air, the chemtrails they bring, people are becoming dumber and dumber by the minute. You just literally cannot believe that people can't do the simple things that a human mind is able to do. Why is that? Partly it's their fault and partly it's not. It's what they're consuming, literally. Food, water, entertainment, media, blah blah, this, that. It's making you dumber and slower because everything looks dumber and slower. And then what happens is when people lack that cognitive processing, they will lack this level of speed. You put somebody who's high IQ in front of people who I guess are, for lack of a better term, like I've said, mediocre. The high IQ person is just like a Tasmanian devil. They've done everything. per se, it ties into pointer number 3 that Clauneck talks about, but high IQ is a major one. Somebody who has high IQ will always, always, always find a way to be successful with money. Why? Because they're creative and they're inventive. They're not going to sit and boo-hoo. You have to coach them, you have to train them into things. Use your mind. When people say use your mind, it's not simple for everybody. Why? Because their IQ is determining where they get to in life. There are a lot of people that can be talented, that can be good at something, but upstairs is just, there's not a lot ringing upstairs. So this is the most triggering one for a lot of people, because there are such things as dumb questions, there are such things as dumb decisions. I remember reading this guy's post probably about 2 years ago. There's no such thing as a right or wrong decision. Yes, there is. And those wrong decisions will cost you your life. I say this all the time. When you make decisions in life, please make sure and please ensure that you have made the right ones. Do your due diligence, thoroughly vet and check things, because one wrong decision is enough to derail your life. Use this. Somebody can have high IQ. I want to touch on a subsection of this, by the way. Somebody can have high IQ. Clauneck has often said this to me, and I have seen people who have brought in money, but there is a major issue that I want to discuss before I go on to pointer 3, and that is being naive. Being naive simply means you can't see somebody's intentions for what they are, which obviously I wanted to cover pointer 4, which would have been being realistic. A lot of people are not realistic. They're very, they like living in a fantasy world of what they think is there, and it's like, that's not always the case. A lot of women have this habit. I'm not saying men are not naive. It's just men have to face more in the external world that women generally do. I'm not saying women don't, but I'm looking at it from a very, very slanted traditional perspective. When you're naive, you lack experience, basically. You don't understand how the world works, and you don't understand that there are so many ways that people will use, abuse, and spit you out, for lack of a better term. So, in essence, I've known people with high IQ as well, but emotionally, this is the major issue. Naive. As you climb that pyramid and you climb those echelons, you're going to make sure that you have to take something that I call cunning along with you. Right. People generally think cunning is evil. Oh, people who are cunning are evil, they're Machiavellian. Not necessarily. Cunning is just being able to read a room properly, read how people feel, read what's going on, and not being blind and not going in blindly to things. Even if you've had that experience where you are recovering from something, don't go blindly into people, because people usually have their own agendas, and it's just good to verify and check before you choose to move ahead. Okay, so pointer 3 perhaps is one of the most important pointers that I'm ever going to make when it comes to Clauneck's money equation. Clauneck is big. Clauneck is a Virgo, by the way, so I just want to talk about this a little bit before I go to pointer 3. Clauneck is a Virgo. Virgo rules the 6th house astrologically, and it's all about organization, health. Clauneck is a big one on health. It's always like, work out, eat well, look after yourself. Clauneck is huge on healthy eating. He hates trash. He just utterly hates junk food, utterly hates trash, oh my god. It's a very long story that I can get into. But with that said, this pointer 3 that I'm going to cover is, for me personally, this comes as number 3 for Clauneck, but it comes number 1 for me as a human being, which is high energy. Okay, money requires high energy and enthusiasm. Cool. I can tell everybody this from experience, being obviously psychically gifted, clairsentiently gifted, that the days I feel low, I feel depressed, I feel down, which is normal with everybody, nothing goes my way. Nothing, that's all I'm vibrating out, nothing goes my way, sales don't come, books don't sell, people don't come to me. But the days I'm feeling like hot shit, the days I'm feeling like, yeah, look at me, look at how great I feel like sunshine in a person, I feel radiant, I feel like I'm on fire. High energy is one of the biggest things, or for me personally, the biggest thing when it comes to bringing in money. Why? Because high energy is attuned into sex plus health. Okay. It's pretty obvious. I've always said money and sex are pretty much the same thing, and I will cover a subsequent video, which I already have on this channel, but I'll cover another one as well. People are attracted to higher energy because it's positive, it's confident, it's lively, it's incredible, it makes people feel good, they want to be around you, and essentially it's like I've said, you're like a sunshine in a bottle. But it really covers sex and health, basically. So in saying that, when somebody has high energy and they look good and they feel good, it's helping them become a magnet for so many things. It helps them become a magnet for sex, for health, for money, for good stuff in life. It makes them radiate positive vibes, look good, feel good. And when you have high energy, you can get more done in your business. You can get more done in your job. They're not people that are working 80-hour weeks. They're not just living on caffeine. Come on, man. A lot of them are taking drugs for a reason. I've had people come to me, and some of them, they don't want to take drugs, but they need that energy. So I have to do very powerful invocations with spirits, which pretty much give you a manic energy, very similar to drugs, but there's no addiction, and you just feel, basically, for most of the time, allowing you to cruise through faster in life. What happens when you have shit health? What happens when you struggle with your health? You can't do anything. You're constantly, I wish I had the energy to do this. I wish I this. I just don't have the energy to do it. Guess what? You're missing out so much on life, which is why I've often said, things such as chronic conditions, such as lupus, fibromyalgia, lots of other things, arthritis, they're gonna dampen and slow a person's ability down to be able to get to whatever they want to do. I should know, years ago I had fibromyalgia, and in essence, fibromyalgia is an autoimmune condition whereby your muscles, it's like arthritis for the muscles. They're stiff constantly, 24/7, meaning you're in pain. You're constantly in pain, 24/7. It used to take me about 2-3 hours to get out of bed. I said to myself, I'm a young woman, I can't live this way. This is just, no, it's not happening for me. So, my guide Belvia is just amazing. Shout out Belvia. And she actually helped me find a shaman who drained all the fibro out of my body, because I refused to accept the disease in my body. And after that, I obviously did a lot more cleaning, astral cleaning, spiritual cleaning, so much cleaning that I was able to get a lot of my energy back. Of course, it had put me through so much at a psychological level, physical, physiological, emotional, but I was constantly working with health spirits to be able to get high energy back. When you have high energy, money is always attracted to high energy. Look at people who are big ballers, they're good with money, they have things set, they are just beaming high energy. Some people I get around them, I'm like, wow, their vibration is so damn fast. I'm like, I need to up my game. I'm not doing enough in life, but it's not a bad thing. It's not because I'm insecure. It's an inspiration to move up and do different things. So Clauneck's money equations, I will go through them again as a recap for everybody that's watching this, and then give you one last pointer that I covered. So number 1 is high stress tolerance. Number 2, high IQ. And number 3, high energy. If you put these 3 things into practice, money's pretty simple to come towards you. Very simple, actually. And the last thing I want to cover, not least, is be realistic. Face reality for what it is. Money-wise. If somebody wants to do business with you, they will. If somebody doesn't want to do business with you, they'll make excuses or whatever it is. People are never honest about what it is you've done or not done, because it's not in people's nature and habit to be honest or truthful. Just stop trying to demand things of people that they're not interested to give you. People know who they want to do business with. People, I can't always say people can see value in the right things, but for the most part, there will be people whose value meter, and Clauneck is big in closing on value. Most people don't become successful in life because it's a value issue for them. They can't see value in something when it's right in front of it. They want love, but they can't see the person that's right in front of them giving it to them because their value system is so skewed. They want big money, but they can't see the client that wants to pay them X amount and they go chasing after little amounts of money. Value. People cannot value you in life if you do not value yourself, because people, believe it or not, will always treat you subconsciously, whether they want to treat you or not, in the way that you treat yourself, in the clothes that you wear, in the way that you look, in what you drive, in where you live. People are always making subconscious evaluations of how much you value yourself, and then henceforth they will treat you accordingly, in essence, to that. So Clauneck's money equation is very simple. Number 1, high stress tolerance. Number 2, high IQ. And number 3, high energy. Get those wrapped up together with realism and you'll definitely see a massive change, whether it's you're looking for a new job, whether it's you are looking to start a business, whether you're looking to expand a business. You can definitely have all this in this money equation that's very simple, but in actual fact is very hard to put into practice. With that said, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you have any questions, myself and Clauneck would love to hear your questions. And also, if you have any other pointers that you'd like to add, that would be fantastic. By the way, just in closing, these are Clauneck's money equations. Clauneck is just saying in my head that please say to them that please don't say number 4 come from a rich family, number 5 thief people. We don't need victim mentality here. Yes, if you come from a rich family, of course life becomes, it's easier and it's harder in both separate ways. Here I'm talking about the merits of capitalism. Capitalism is not corporatism, it's not greed. Capitalism is not greed. Capitalism is basically creating something in exchange for merit. You add value to the marketplace, people pay you. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to catch you soon. Take care. Bye.